Welcome back to part 4 of the Super Mario 3D All-Star Review series. In this video, I'll be giving my thoughts on the whole 3D collection, as well as giving a summary of the public's opinion on this very controversial release. I'll be segmenting my review into different sections. Timestamps will be included in the description, so feel free to skip to the parts that interest you. Super Mario 3D All-Star is a collection of the first 3D Mario games. These games are generally received very well by the critics, as well as by fans. This compilation has been rumoured for many months in 2020, probably one of the worst kept secrets at Nintendo. The game was officially announced in the Super Mario 35th Anniversary Direct on September 3rd. It was the last announcement in fact, with a very surprising release date of 18 September, which meant the game was slated to release in a mere 2 weeks time. I remember calling my local retailer after the Direct took place, and they were completely taken off guard. I was actually worried I won't be able to pre-order it. Those 2 weeks were filled with many controversies, especially after the game was leaked early, with many data mines that revealed the nature of the collection. First off, let's do a quick rundown of all enhancements and changes made to each individual game. For Super Mario 64, the main changes are its graphics. Some textures and UI have been improved to look a lot cleaner. However, many people including me are a little upset that the game is not running in 16:9 widescreen and instead it still runs in 4:3. I think the worst part is that they didn't manage to upscale it properly, so you get this weird letterbox effect where the vertical parts of the game aren't filled up properly. I'm not a big fan of that. They should have stretched it and make it 1080p at least. Some people are also upset that Nintendo didn't try to have it run in 60fps. Honestly, I didn't mind that it ran in 30fps. It is not really a big deal for me because it is not as jarring as the next game in the collection. The most controversial part of this release for most people is that this Super Mario 64 ROM is a Shindo pack, which included different perks and patches, such as including Rumble. I would say I like the Rumble effect a lot, so yeah. However, these ROM patches certain exploit like the infamous backward long jump glitch, which kind of make this version of the game not very pro speedrunning. I can understand how the speedrunning community may be very disappointed. To be fair, this port does perform a lot smoother in places where the original game on an authentic N64 would lag. In addition, the Shindo pack also removed the famous line, "So long, gay Bowser." So yeah, since I never really played that much before this collection, it didn't bother me that much to have. Bye bye. Another aspect that drew a lot of heat in the community is that Nintendo inverted the camera controls, which makes it more easier for casuals like me to get into. However, that obviously caused a lot of more experienced players to be bugged out. Nintendo should have definitely gave us an option to toggle it back to how the original was. Overall, all of this makes it the best legal way to play Super Mario 64, and in my opinion I think it's a decent port. Of course, there are better unofficial versions out there, mainly the recompiled Super Mario 64 version, which can both run in widescreen as well as 60fps. For Super Mario Sunshine, the most hit I see out there is the fact that they didn't make Sunshine run in 60fps, and I personally 100% agree. It is super jarring to play it. I never really got used to it even after many hours of playing. It just doesn't feel smooth at all. They did upscale the game to 1080p as well as making it widescreen, which in my opinion makes Sunshine look really good. Nintendo once again inverted the camera controls with no option to toggle it back to the original. The other thing is the game doesn't support the GameCube controller organically, so the original analog trigger spraying water functionality is reworked to 2 separate buttons instead. Personally, I cannot comment on it as I haven't played the original game on original hardware, but once again, Nintendo probably should have included the functionality back. Lastly, because the game is emulated, there are bugs that weren't in the original game, which result in a janky game to be more janky. Overall, I think Nintendo did a good job. Of course, if we had ran at 60fps, would have been the icing on the cake. However, the widescreen and upscale resolution definitely makes this the definitive port. For Super Mario Galaxy, they upscaled the game from 480p to 1080p, which just makes an already pretty game even more gorgeous. The controls is the biggest talking point. The closest replacement to the Wiimote Nunchuck combo is the detached Joy-Con setup. Of course, the biggest problem is that after a while, the Joy-Con starts to drift and you need to calibrate again with the R button. Personally, I have no problem getting used to the setup. You just need to continuously calibrate the pointer once in a while. You can also use a Pro Controller, but I personally feel like moving the whole controller physically with 2 hands to collect star beats or selecting options to be very clunky. In handheld mode, I feel it's the worst way to play it. The pointer control is essentially remapped to the only touchscreen, which just feels weird as you need to take off one of your hands to play. The menu options are also tied to the use of gyro pointing and touch input, which I feel Nintendo should have changed so that we can simply use the left analog stick or D-pad to select options. Overall, I think it's a great port of Super Mario Galaxy. They never botched the motion control, at least in TV mode, and running in 1080p is absolutely a game changer. In fact, let me go on a tangent and just name some of the Wii games that I know will look incredible if it was upscaled to 1080p. Skyward Sword comes to mind. The impressionist art style will look incredible in Full HD. Metroid Prime Trilogy and Punch-Out is another 2 games that I would love to see in HD. The only extra we're getting in this collection is the music player. I know a lot of people like to say it's a useless mode and whatnot, but personally I actually like music modes in video games a lot. And I do find myself using this mode quite often when I'm doing my work, like writing this script and whatnot. But I have to compare it to the great music mode from Smash Ultimate. In that game you can create different playlists, control the music playback, set playback mode like shuffle, and also a large amount of soundtrack plays a part too. And when you compare it to the 3D All-Star music mode, it's just very disappointing. You don't get any of those features at all, just plain vanilla play and stop. The intrinsic value this collection provides are the fact that you can, for the first time, play these 3 games in portable mode, which I think is a very good selling point. But that's more of the advantage of the Switch in general. Nintendo definitely cut corners in delivering this collection. I've expected to at least see some artwork or behind the scenes coverage or interviews with Nintendo staff. Can you imagine hearing the impacts of these 3 games made with old and new Nintendo staff? I would have loved to hear the opinions of Super Mario 64 with the younger Nintendo staff, for instance. The most glaring omission is Super Mario Galaxy 2. It should have been included in this collection. It is a critically acclaimed title that stood side by side with Super Mario Galaxy as the best Wii games ever. At first I was worried that the motion controls will not carry over to Galaxy 2 very well, as controlling Yoshi was a big mechanic of Galaxy 2. However, this re-release of Galaxy 1 has proven that the motion controls work well. The other hot topic is that this is just a lazy cash grab attempt by Nintendo, and there are definitely some valid arguments here if you look at the numbers. The game retails for $60 USD. If you look at the Wii U Virtual Console, you will note that Super Mario 64 sells for $9.99, Super Mario Galaxy sells for $19.99. If let's assume a GameCube game will lie between the middle of these 2 prices, the math doesn't add up at all. $60 USD is definitely pricier than if you were to procure it on the Wii U, unless you think the music mode is worth $15. Of course, Super Mario Sunshine in reality was never released before this collection, so the value is hard to determine. The actual Super Mario Sunshine disc obviously will cost a lot more, so I guess the price is kind of justified. We should have gotten more extras. I think the least they could have done is scan the box art and manuals. Giving us HD scans of those materials I think would be great. Maybe throw in some concept arts and interview to really seal the deal. As of now, it's hard to defend Nintendo like this, as this collection should have felt like a celebration instead of a bone dry package like this. Nintendo could have also incorporated some elements from the pseudo remake Super Mario 64 DS. Lastly, I think emulation options should have been included. I'm talking about save states, fast forward, rewind and whatnot. We already know that Super Mario 64 and Sunshine are all essentially emulated, so why not give us these options? I think I'll have a lot more fun with Sunshine if save states were included. One example I would like to give is OG Final Fantasy VII. In the modern release, there are cheats like 3 times fast forward speed and no random encounters cheat, which greatly increased my enjoyment of the game. In fact, I believe without these options, I would have hated the game, since the OG FF7 hasn't really aged all that well. Honestly, Super Mario Sunshine is the one that really needs these options the most. I can understand the fans' frustration in this case, as these aren't super high requests. There are other video game collections we have done a better job encapsulating the franchise and its games. Collections such as the Mega Man Collection, Sonic Collection, Rare Replays springs to mind. It is truly sad cause Mario is the face of Nintendo. If there's one collection, it's the Mario one that should have gotten the most oomph. But the fact that not only did Nintendo not go all out for this collection, that they make it so obvious that they really didn't put that much effort into this collection. It definitely felt like a rushed product. The most controversial part of this 3D All-Star release is that Nintendo decided to make this game a limited release, which includes the digital version of this game. This means that if you didn't get this game before 31st March of 2021, that's it. You can't even get it on Nintendo eShop, which is just a very anti-consumer move. Recently, there have been some very high-profile theories regarding the nature of this decision. The major theory stems from an NPD analyst that proposed a chance that Nintendo is planning to release the game individually on the eShop. Personally, I don't believe that theory because Super Mario 35 will also be discontinued by 31st March of 2021. I think Nintendo is looking at that date as the cut-off for the whole 35 Mario anniversary celebration, so that's why they are discontinuing after the date. Just want to quickly address some of the hope up there. I personally don't think Nintendo is gonna be actively looking to increase the value of this package, and that's because of the nature of the limited release. Why would they spend so much time on a product that won't be selling in less than 6 months? That's especially true for DLCs, which a prevailing theory is that Galaxy 2 will be sold as a DLC. I just don't see it. Selling a DLC for a product that is limited, that's just stupid. I think it's even gonna be hard enough to get a patch unless there is some super game breaking bug in the emulators. There's literally no way they'll go out of their way to update the game. But hey, let's just go through some of the community's wish list. First up, we have options. Give us the ability to invert the camera in 64 and Sunshine. Secondly, add GameCube controller support for Sunshine. Thirdly, add the Nvidia Shield approach of collecting star beads, which is just using the right analog stick. And my personal wish list includes save states for 64 and Sunshine. Patch the bugs in Sunshine emulator like the lagginess when opening the map. And give us the HD scans of the manual and the box art. That's it. Alright, let me conclude the whole review of 3D All-Stars with my own personal experience. I got to finish Super Mario 64 for the first time, which was a big deal for me, as the last time I got to play it was when I was 14 years old. I played Super Mario 64 on an emulator, and the computer that I was playing on broke, so I lost all my save files. And I've tried replaying it a couple of times over the years, but I never really persisted after getting the first few Power Stars. So when Nintendo announced this game, I knew I needed to finish it. I'm glad I got to do that with this collection. Of course, I have also got to experience Super Mario Sunshine for the first time. I've always been an outsider for this game, but now I feel like part of this community. Even though I have nothing but criticism for the game, just seeing some of the YouTube comments from some of Sunshine's notorious Shine Sprite mission just made me feel included for some reason. And last but not least, I got to replay one of the best video games ever created. Anytime I get an excuse to replay Super Mario Galaxy, I'll do it, and getting to experience this game in Full HD is definitely a treat. It really brought back a lot of memories for me. It's just the most pure fun I had in a very long time. And this entire collection just makes me appreciate the whole Super Mario franchise a lot more. I just want to play more Mario. Hopefully we do get Galaxy 2 re-released at some point in the future. And I'm super excited to play Super Mario 3D World, as I never had a Wii U. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is a very weird release to review. As a celebration to the Super Mario franchise hitting its 35th anniversary, it fails completely by not providing enough extra content that rewards and satisfies long-time Mario fans. As a remaster collection, it hits the bare minimum mark of providing great definitive ports of old classics. However, it did not remake the games completely. The pain points and aging aspect of Super Mario 64 and Sunshine weren't addressed in this collection, which makes this a lukewarm remaster. As a package, it contains 3 of the most important Mario games ever. Each game was influential in their own respective era. At the end of the day, this is a collection of great games, but not a great collection of great games. So would I recommend this collection? The answer is yes. If you have not played any of these games, this is an easy recommendation. You're gonna have fun playing through these games. I would suggest playing them back to back in chronological sequence, as it really shows the evolution of 3D Mario games from primitive 3D technology all the way to when they nailed the design and execution perfectly in Galaxy. So yeah, thanks for sticking it to the end of this entire series. Subscribe if you want to see more gaming content on this channel. So long guys, so long.